in the heart of a quaint rural village nestled in Imo State, Nigeria, where the lush green palms swayed gently under the tropical sun, and the red earth paths wound like veins through clusters of mud brick homes, lived a young girl named Adaora. Orphaned at the tender age of 5 when a tragic accident claimed her parents' lives during a stormy night on their way back from the market, Adaora had been thrust into the unforgiving care of her aunt, Nneka. Nneka's home was a modest, thatched roof hut on the outskirts of the village, where the air was thick with the scent of cassava leaves and the distant calls of roosters. But beneath this seemingly peaceful facade lurked a darkness. Nneka, barren and childless, was whispered among the villagers to be cursed by the gods for her wicked heart. She treated Adaora not as family, but as a burdensome servant, forcing her to arise before dawn to fetch water from the distant stream, scrub the floors until her hands bled, and tend to the farm without a morsel of gratitude. Adaora's days blurred into an endless cycle of toil, her once bright eyes dimmed by the constant barrage of insults and beatings. Yet she clung to fragments of her parents' memories, stories of love and kindness that fueled her quiet resilience. The villagers pitied her, murmuring in hushed tones about Nneka's infertility being divine retribution, but fear of the woman's sharp tongue kept them from intervening too boldly. As the years passed, Adaora grew into a striking young woman, her ebony skin glowing with an inner strength that no amount of hardship could extinguish. She learned to navigate the village's social intricacies with grace, offering smiles to elders and helping neighbors with their chores whenever she could steal a moment away from her aunt's watchful eye. But intrigue simmered beneath the surface. Rumors spread like wildfire through the palm wine gatherings that Nneka harbored a secret jealousy, believing Adaora's beauty was a mockery of her own faded allure. One fateful evening, as Adaora returned from the stream with a heavy pot balanced precariously on her head, droplets of water trailing down her neck in the humid air, she overheard Nneka plotting with a shadowy figure in the dim light of their hut. The conversation hinted at something sinister, a plan to marry Adaora off to a cruel trader from a neighboring village to rid herself of the burden once and for all. Adaora's heart pounded with suspense. She knew escape was impossible without drawing attention, so she feigned ignorance, her mind racing with thoughts of freedom that seemed as distant as the stars twinkling above the African sky. This hidden threat added layers to her daily struggles, making every glance from her aunt feel like a dagger poised to strike. The village itself was a tapestry of traditions and superstitions, where the Igbo customs intertwined with the rhythms of nature. Festivals brought bursts of color and drum beats that echoed through the nights. But for Adaora, they were mere glimpses of joy from afar, as Nneka forbade her participation, claiming she was unworthy. Yet, in quiet moments by the stream, Adaora would whisper prayers to the ancestors, begging for a twist of fate to alter her path. Little did she know, the winds of change were already stirring. The king's son, Prince Chidi, had just returned from the United States, bringing with him tales of skyscrapers and opportunity that electrified the village gossip. Whispers of his impending search for a wife floated like mist over the yam fields, igniting dreams among the young women. For Adaora, these stories were distant fantasies, but an inexplicable sense of foreboding gripped her, as if the universe was conspiring to weave her into a larger narrative filled with unexpected alliances and betrayals. Amidst the oppressive routine, Adaora found solace in small acts of rebellion, like sneaking reads from tattered books borrowed from the village schoolteacher who saw potential in her sharp mind. These stolen moments fueled her imagination, painting vivid pictures of worlds beyond the village's borders. However, Suspense mounted when Nneka discovered one such book hidden under Adaora's mat, unleashing a fury that left bruises hidden beneath her wrapper. The villagers, witnessing the escalation, began to murmur more openly, debating whether to involve the king. Adaora's spirit, though battered, remained unbroken. She dreamed of a day when her endurance would be rewarded, unaware that the prince's return would soon catapult her into a whirlwind of palace intrigue, where friends could turn foes and love could bloom in the most unlikely places. Prince Chidi's arrival back in the village after years in the United States was nothing short of a spectacle, with the entire community gathering at the palace gate to welcome him. The air buzzed with excitement as drummers pounded rhythms that shook the ground, and women ululated in high-pitched trills, their colorful Ankara fabrics swirling like a rainbow. Chidi, tall and broad-shouldered from his time abroad, stepped out of the airport shuttle with a confident stride, his Western attire, a crisp button-down shirt and jeans, contrasting sharply with the traditional agbada worn by his father the king. His mother, Queen Ifeoma, enveloped him in a tearful embrace, her eyes gleaming with pride and a hint of urgency. "My son, you have seen the world. Now it's time to secure your legacy," she whispered, alluding to the pressure for him to marry and produce heirs. The village elders nodded approvingly, but beneath the festivities lurked whispers of envy from those who saw his education as a threat to old ways, setting the stage for subtle intrigues that would test alliances. That very evening, in the opulent palace adorned with carved wooden masks and woven tapestries depicting ancient Igbo legends, Queen Ifeoma pulled Chidi aside into a private chamber lit by flickering oil lamps. She spoke earnestly of the need for him to choose a wife from the village's finest, emphasizing how his union would strengthen ties and quell any unrest. Chidi, influenced by his American experiences of independence and equality, felt a twinge of reluctance. He yearned for a partner with depth, not just beauty. As invitations went out to the most beautiful girls, suspense built. Would he find someone genuine amid the parade of suitors? The first group arrived the next day, their laughter echoing through the halls as they vied for his attention. But Chidi sensed their prideful facades, each conversation revealing superficial ambitions that left him disillusioned. One girl boasted of her lineage, another of her dowry, but none sparked the connection he sought, heightening the intrigue as rumors spread of a cursed selection process. Days turned into weeks, with Queen Ifeoma tirelessly summoning more candidates, her determination bordering on obsession. Chidi, growing weary, began to explore the village in his sleek SUV, the engine's hum a novelty that drew curious stares from children playing in the dust. One afternoon, as he navigated the bumpy roads lined with banana trees, he pondered the weight of his royal duties, unaware that fate was about to introduce a twist. The girls he met in the palace continued to disappoint. Their annoying habits, like incessant flattery or veiled manipulations, made him question if true love existed in his homeland. Intrigue deepened when he overheard palace guards gossiping about a mysterious oracle's prophecy that his bride would come from humble origins, a revelation that Queen Ifeoma dismissed as superstition, but which planted seeds of doubt in Chidi's mind. The pressure mounted, with village feasts turning into subtle battlegrounds where families pushed their daughters forward, each encounter laced with suspense. Chidi's nonchalant demeanor masked his inner turmoil. He confided in a trusted advisor about his fears of a loveless marriage. Little did he know, a simple drive would soon alter everything, intertwining his path with that of an orphan whose quiet strength would challenge the prideful elite and unveil hidden jealousies within the palace walls. As Prince Chidi cruised through the village in his gleaming SUV, the sun casting long shadows over the red dirt paths, he spotted a lone figure in the distance. A girl balancing a large clay pot brimming with water on her head, her steps steady despite the uneven terrain. Adaora, returning from the stream where the cool waters whispered secrets of the forest, noticed the approaching vehicle and stepped aside, her heart skipping a beat at the sight of royalty. With the humility ingrained from years of hardship, She offered a respectful greeting, her voice soft yet clear amid the rustling leaves. "Good afternoon, Your Highness." Chidi, lost in thoughts of his marital woes, replied with a nonchalant nod and a mumbled afternoon, accelerating past without a second glance. Yet, in that brief moment, an inexplicable spark ignited. Adaora's genuine demeanor lingered in his mind like a faint melody, contrasting sharply with the contrived charm of the palace suitors. Back at Nneka's hut, the encounter replayed in Adaora's thoughts as she poured the water into storage jars, the cool liquid splashing against the clay walls. Suspense brewed when Nneka, ever vigilant, questioned her delayed return, her eyes narrowing with suspicion. Adaora downplayed the incident, but inside, a flicker of hope stirred. Perhaps the prince's presence signaled change in the village's stagnant rhythms. That night, as thunder rumbled in the distance, heralding an approaching storm, Adaora dreamed of grander destinies, unaware that this fleeting meeting would become a pivotal thread in a tapestry of intrigue. Meanwhile, Chidi dined with his family, the palace alive with the aromas of egusi soup and fufu, but his mind wandered to the girl by the road, her poise under burden intriguing him more than he cared to admit.
The following days amplified the suspense. Villagers buzzed about Chidi's drives, speculating on his intentions. Adaora faced escalating maltreatment from Nneka, who, sensing her niece's distraction, assigned harsher chores, like scrubbing the entire compound under the blistering sun. One evening, as Adaora collapsed in exhaustion, bruises blooming on her arms from a recent beating, she overheard Nneka confiding in a neighbor about her plans to expedite Adaora's unwanted marriage. The revelation sent chills down her spine, a plot twist that threatened to seal her fate before any royal intervention. Intrigue thickened as word of Nneka's wickedness reached more ears, setting the stage for communal action. Chidi, reflecting on the encounter during a solitary walk in the palace gardens, fragrant with hibiscus blooms, felt an odd pull toward the mysterious girl. Little did he know, this nonchalant exchange was the harbinger of profound changes, where alliances would form, betrayals unfold, and a simple greeting would evolve into a bond defying social hierarchies.
The maltreatment at Nneka's hands reached a boiling point one sweltering afternoon when Adaora's cries echoed through the village after a particularly vicious beating over a spilled bucket of water. Neighbors, long silent, could no longer ignore the injustice. A group of elders convened under the ancient Iroko tree, their voices rising in indignation against Nneka's cruelty. Whispers of her childlessness being a curse fueled the debate, with some suggesting spiritual intervention. Finally, they marched to the palace, presenting the case to King Obina, whose wise eyes surveyed the crowd from his throne adorned with leopard skins. The king, known for his fairness, listened intently, his brow furrowing at tales of Adaora's suffering. In a dramatic twist, he decreed that Adaora be removed from Nneka's care and brought to the palace as a ward to serve in the royal household where she could find protection and purpose. Adaora's arrival at the palace was a whirlwind of emotions. Escorted by guards, she stepped through the grand gates, her tattered wrapper a stark contrast to the opulent surroundings of marble floors and intricate carvings. Queen Ifeoma, though initially skeptical, assigned her light duties in the kitchens where the air hummed with the chatter of maids and the sizzle of plantains frying. Suspense mounted as Adaora navigated this new world, facing subtle hostilities from other girls jealous of her sudden elevation. One night, as she lay on her mat in the servants' quarters, she pondered the king's mercy, unaware that Prince Chidi had overheard the proceedings from a hidden alcove, his curiosity piqued by the orphan's resilience. Life in the palace unfolded with layers of intrigue. Adaora's quiet efficiency and quiet admirers, but also enemies who whispered of her unworthy origins. Chidi, from his chamber window overlooking the courtyard, began noticing her, how she endured taunts from prideful maids without retort, her grace under pressure mirroring the poise he sought in a wife. A plot twist emerged when a jealous maid tampered with Adaora's chores, spilling oil to frame her for clumsiness, heightening tensions. The king, upon investigation, reaffirmed his protection, but the incident sowed seeds of deeper conspiracies within the walls. As weeks passed, Adaora adapted, her spirit blooming amid the palace's vibrancy. Yet suspense lingered. Nneka, furious at the loss, lurked in the shadows, plotting revenge that could upend Adaora's fragile sanctuary and draw Chidi deeper into the fray. In the sprawling palace compound, where corridors echoed with the footsteps of attendants and the scent of incense wafted from ancestral shrines, Prince Chidi found himself increasingly drawn to the window of his chambers. From there, he observed Adaora as she went about her duties, her movements fluid and unassuming amidst the bustle of daily life. He watched in quiet admiration as other maids, filled by envy, hurled insults at her orphan status, calling her a stream rat, unworthy of royal heir. Adaora, with her head held high, responded with silence, her inner strength a beacon that intrigued Chidi more than any elaborate courtship. This daily ritual became his secret solace, a suspenseful game of observation where he pieced together her character, humble, enduring, and kind, qualities absent in the parade of suitors his mother continued to present. Queenie Theoma, oblivious to her son's growing fascination, persisted in her matchmaking efforts, summoning girls whose laughter rang false in Chidi's ears. One evening, during a lavish dinner of pounded yam and okra soup, she proposed a novel idea: a cooking competition where eligible maidens would prepare dishes for Chidi and the best would win his hand. Chidi, seeing an opportunity to stir the process, agreed, but with a twist. He suggested including palace helpers, subtly advocating for Adaora without naming her. The announcement sent ripples of intrigue through the village. Whispers questioned if this was a fair contest or a rigged spectacle, especially as Nneka spread rumors of Adaora's bewitching ways to sabotage her. Preparations for the competition buzzed with suspense. Adaora, upon hearing of her inclusion, felt a mix of terror and excitement, her mind racing with recipes passed down from her late mother. Chidi's admiration deepened when he caught her practicing in the kitchens late at night, her focus unwavering despite exhaustion. A shocking twist unfolded when a rival maid discovered a hidden letter from Nneka, urging disruption of the event, revealing a web of external meddling that threatened the palace's harmony. As the days led to the competition, Chidi's window vigils intensified, each glance building an unspoken connection. The palace, once a symbol of order, now pulsed with undercurrents of jealousy and alliance, setting the stage for revelations that would test loyalties and ignite passions. The cooking competition dawned, with the palace transformed into an arena of aromas and anticipation. Tents erected in the courtyard where villagers gathered to witness the spectacle. Queen Ifeoma oversaw the event with regal poise, announcing rules. Each contestant would prepare a signature dish using local ingredients, judged by Chidi on taste, creativity, and presentation. The air thickened with suspense as the girls, adorned in their finest, began their preparations, chopping onions, grinding spices, and stirring pots over open fires. Adaora, positioned at a modest station, drew from her hardships, infusing her egusi soup with herbs foraged from the stream's edge, her hands steady despite the glaring eyes of competitors who whispered of her unfair advantage as a palace insider. As the hours ticked by, intrigue escalated. One contestant accidentally spilled salt in another's pot, sparking accusations and a brief chaos that the queen quelled with a stern gaze. Chidi, tasting each entry,
found most lacking, overly spiced or blandly pretentious. But when he sampled Adora's, flavors exploded on his palate, evoking memories of home and warmth. In a stunning twist, she emerged victorious, her dish praised for its authenticity and soul. Yet, murmurs rippled through the crowd. He won't marry her just for cooking. She's an orphan beneath him. Chidi, sensing the doubt, feigned indifference, but inside, his resolve strengthened, seeing this as a sign from the ancestors.
Post-competition, the palace buzzed with gossip. Nneka, lacking at the edges, fueled dissent by claiming Adaora used forbidden charms. Adaora, humbled by the win, retreated to her duties, unaware of the brewing storm. Chidi's mother, pleased yet cautious, pondered the implications, while a jealous maid plotted further sabotage, adding layers of suspense to the unfolding drama. The victory marked a turning point, but suspense lingered. Would cooking prowess sway royal hearts, or would societal barriers prevail? The event's aftermath wove deeper intrigue, drawing Chidi and Adaora closer in unexpected ways. One moonlit night, as Prince Chidi wandered the palace grounds to clear his mind from the competition's echoes, he spotted Adaora carrying a pot of water across the courtyard, her silhouette graceful under the stars. Memories flooded back, the roadside greeting, her unassuming poise, and he called out, stopping her in her tracks. They conversed tentatively at first, sharing stories of loss and dreams. Adaora spoke of her parents' tales, Chidi of American freedoms. This encounter sparked a friendship, their smiles exchanged in passing, becoming daily rituals that infused the palace with subtle warmth. Yet suspense built as they gathered their growing bond from prying eyes. Tensions peaked when a maid, driven by jealousy, assaulted Adaora in the kitchens, leaving her with a gash on her arm. The incident reached the king, who punished the aggressor severely, banishing her from service. That night, Chidi secretly tended Adora's wound in a hidden alcove, their proximity igniting sparks of affection. Months passed with stolen moments, whispered conversations under mango trees, shared laughs over village folklore, fostering deep feelings amid intrigue, as rumors of a forbidden romance swirled.
A twist emerged when Nneka infiltrated the palace disguised as a vendor, attempting to poison Adora's food in revenge, but Chidi's intervention thwarted the plot, deepening their trust. Their closeness evolved into undeniable love, each meeting laced with the thrill of secrecy. As feelings blossomed, Chidi confided in his mother about his choice, setting the stage for a proposal that would defy expectations and unravel remaining conspiracies.
With resolve firm, Prince Chidi approached Adaora under the palace's ancient baobab tree, professing his love and proposing marriage, his voice trembling with emotion. She accepted, tears of joy mingling with disbelief, their union a testament to enduring spirits. The announcement shocked the village. Gossip erupted about the prince wedding an orphan, with Nneka leading the chorus of disdain, but the king endorsed it, quelling unrest. The wedding was a grand affair, blending Igbo traditions with modern flair, drums thundering, dances swelling, feasts overflowing. Intrigue faded as former rivals witnessed their genuine bond, a final twist revealing Nneka's redemption through Adaora's forgiveness, granting her peace.
Post-marriage, the couple thrived. Adaora's wisdom influenced palace reforms. Chidi's experiences bridged worlds. People marveled at their happiness, proving love conquers prejudice. Years later, with children filling their home, they lived blissfully, their story a legend, inspiring hope amid life's twists.
Subscribe, like, comment, and share.